Hi, Maxie the cat. What the hell are we in for? I have no idea. I have no idea, but I am excited to find out. Emergency stream? We will see. We will see. In the meantime, I'm just going to catalog this commander deck I just built on Moxfield. Any of you ever played Dead by Daylight? Yeah, I love me some Dead by Daylight. Building a Halloween town. Dr. Beat. Do we need music? No, we have music. Y'all got your beats. On the search for the perfect anime ass, huh? Good luck, I guess. Good morning, everybody. Dang, there are a lot of people showing up for this. Why? No, stop it. Yeah, no, I just saw that he was doing something, and I gotta see what. Cooked Cook, we're gonna see. So apparently, there have been multiple sources close to his campaign who have speculated as much. So it would be very funny. Like, and here's the thing. Yeah, I have Ko-Fi I don't have Ko-Fi subscriptions. I don't have Ko-Fi subscriptions. I do have Patreon and OnlyFans if you want. Who did that? Who done that? Thank you. Let the insanity come forward. This will be wild. I mean, it'll either be, I think it's his first broadcast since, or his first news conference, I believe, since Kamala. So it'll either be shitting on Kamala and Walls, or, and what I hope, and I don't think will happen. I think, like, we've had a lot of cool shit happen. I don't think we're lucky enough to get him dropping out. Kamala. All right, you're right. You're right. That's my bad. I don't know about that. I think he has been legitimately shook by his brush with death. Sup, gamers? How much time do we have left? We got 5 minutes. All right, I can still finish my. I do not have $100 to bet right now. I'm very good at naming things. I don't know if y'all know this. I'm very good at naming things with puns. Yeah, $100 in this economy? Nope, wait, wrong. Am I thinking of rebleaching my hair? I will. Yeah, I will. I just need to make an appointment. I actually just got my hair cut. Nobody's noticed yet. But yeah, I just got my hair cut a day or so ago. Oh, I am... Is that how you spell ultimatum? Yeah, no, that is not. Mary Reed and Ann Bonnie. Thank you, composting. Yeah, I'm going to my first Commander event tonight, and I made my own... Nope, wrong one. Pirate deck. And a Pirate Assassin's Creed deck. So I am putting it into Moxfield so I can share it and get tips. Edward Kenway is the commander. I might have to try and find this one. I think that was from the Assassin's Creed vault. Where are we at? 2 minutes until speech time. Yeah, apparently they have had 2 because there's secret layer cards too. But I missed out on those. Good. I'm sorry about that, Lane. But I'm glad you're chilling, staying cool, and hydrating and breathing. Pretty much everything can be gotten through with that. Buy my magic cards. I've spent far too much. Lady, hello, dog. Hello. Hello, little puppy. Yes, I know. You are such a little puppy. You're just being a little dog right now. Alright, already did that one. Nope. Just need one. Ah, stop it. Lady. Come now, dog. Come now, dog. Come now, dog. Hello. Hello, puppy. Alright, I'm gonna give her a bone. Yes, you get a bone because you read such a butt. But such a booger. Got good bone. Is it a 2 beers before work kind of day? I wouldn't say. The fuck? Live in 36 minutes. What? Started streaming 6 minutes ago. Oh god, it would be so funny if they dropped JD Vance. I mean, he wants to do that too. I know he wants to do that. Is this live? No, stop. I think it's live. Yeah, okay, it says live. All right. Chair stream for washed up rich fucks. We'll see. Oh, they're adjusting the camera at least. Yeah, no, I watched all of the Aiden Ross Trump train wreck. I think I talked about that. I watched that with my boyfriend, and I'm so glad I did not fucking stream that shit. So glad. How's everybody else doing today on this fine Thursday? I'm about to hit, if I haven't hit it already, 100,000. And I'm feeling slightly overwhelmed by that. Still got nothing doing. All right. I'll try and reload it again. See. Design no. What? All right, let me see. Post. Fuck him, I'll be quitting soon anyway. Hey, yeah. have to say, Homelander, I have no idea. I have no idea. That's why we're watching. Hello, Ferrum Fox.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Oh wait, hang on.
being here. Just a statement before I talk about debates. I think that our country is right now in the most dangerous position it's ever been in, from an economic standpoint, from a safety standpoint. Both gangs on the street and, frankly, gangs outside of our country in the form of other countries that are, frankly, very powerful. They're very powerful countries, and we don't know what we're doing. We have leadership that has no clue how to handle them or how to handle any other situation. We have a lot of bad things coming up. You could end up in a depression of the 1929 variety, which would be a devastating thing. Took many years, took decades to recover from it.
See, here's the thing. I don't think he's dropping out just based on this intro, but like the dude so clearly doesn't have the sauce anymore. All right, let me turn it up for y'all. It's quiet for me too.
And we can't have that. Most dangerous period of time I've ever seen for our country. With that being said,
that should be better for
we
y'all.
have somebody that hasn't received one vote for president, and she's running, and that's fine with me. But we were given Joe Biden, and now we're given somebody else. And I think, frankly, I'd rather be running against somebody else. But that was their choice. They decided to do that because Kamala's record is horrible. She's a radical left person at a level
I'd rather
that
be going
seen.
against somebody else,
She
but
picked a
her
radical
record
left
is horrible.
Man that is, he's got things done that he has positions that are just not, it's not even possible to believe that they exist.
What the fuck
He's
does that
going
even
for
mean,
things that
dude?
Nobody's ever even heard of.
What?
Heavy into the transgender world, heavy into lots of different worlds, having to do with safety. He doesn't want to have borders. He doesn't want to have walls. He doesn't want to have any form of safety for our country. He doesn't mind people coming in
into
from
the
prisons,
transgender world.
Neither does she, I guess, because she's not. She couldn't care less. She's the border czar. By the way, she was the border czar 100%. And all of a sudden, for the last few weeks, she's not the border czar
Oh my God.
anymore.
All right, I'm going to keep going because I'm almost done
And I just hope
inputting
that
my deck
the
into Moxfield.
media becomes more diligent, more honest, frankly, because if they're not going to be honest, it's going to be much tougher to bring our country back. We have a very, very sick country right now. You saw the other day with the stock market crashing. That was just the beginning. That was just the beginning. It's going to get worse. It's going to get a lot worse, in my opinion. And fortunately, we've had some very good polls over the last fairly short period of time. Rasmussen came out today. We're substantially leading, and others came out today that we're leading, and in some cases substantially. I guess MS.
Substantially leading,
NBC
leading in
came
some
out,
cases
or
substantially.
CNBC came out also. With a
Oh,
poll that
boy.
was, has us leading. And leading fairly big in swing states. In some polls, I'm leading very big in swing states.
Leading
because
very
they want
big.
safety. People
God.
want safety. They want security. They want respect all around the world for our country. They don't want this
Is he fucking? Is he like trying to tank this? What the
culture
fuck?
that is developing. A culture of no common sense. It's really a culture of no common sense, and it's not what anyone wants. We want to have a safe
God
country.
damn.
We want to have a strong military. We want low interest rates, and we want to be able to have
This
the
is
American
not
dream.
the
We
Trump
want to
that was
be
at
able
the
to have
debate
our
with
youth
Biden.
Be able to buy
You
homes,
say that.
housing, get good jobs, and we're really just at the opposite right now. It's so sad to see. But as a border czar, she's been the worst border czar in history, in the world history.
In the world
I think
history.
the number is 20 million, but whether it's
God
15 or 20, it's numbers that
He's
nobody's ever
straight
heard
up
before.
Bidening right now. Like
20
it's
million
it's
people
just
came over
fucking
the border in the last
like
during the
there has to be literally
Biden-Harris
no speech on the
administration. 20
teleprompter right now
million
for this
people.
to be happening.
And it could be very much higher than that. Nobody really knows what the number is. Nobody knows. Nobody has a clue. And the gotaways, they call them the gotaways. The gotaways are at numbers. Somebody was quizzing me on it the other day. No, I don't think so, sir. I don't think so. They have no idea what those numbers are. But they're much higher than you would think. Just like far more people were killed in the Ukraine-Russia war than you ever report.
What?
Just like the October 7th would have never happened. Russia would have never hit Ukraine had the election result been called differently.
Jesus
It was a very
Christ.
bad call, but Russia would not
He's
have attacked
fucking-
Ukraine. October 7th in Israel would have never happened. You wouldn't have inflation. A lot of great things would have happened, but now you have millions and millions of dead people, and you have people dying financially because they can't buy bacon, they can't buy food, they can't buy groceries.
What is this
they can't
bacon
do
thing? This is the
anything.
second time I've seen a bacon
And,
thing.
they're living horribly in our country right now. With all of that being said, I think it's very important to have debates.
Yep, you
And
certainly
we've agreed with
Certainly did
Fox
say it.
on a date of September 4th.
Okay, so he's
We've
announcing
agreed
a
with
debate.
NBC, fairly full agreement, subject to them, on September 10th. And we've agreed with ABC on September 25th. So we have those 3 dates. And,
Okay, so there's 3 debates with
those
Kamala.
networks, they're very
Kamala.
anxiously awaiting that date
Kamala.
and those
Kamala.
dates. So we have September 4th, September 10th, and September 25th. We have spoken to the heads of the network, and it's all been confirmed, other than some fairly minor details. Audience, some location, which city would we put it into, but all things that will be settled very easily. I think it'll be very easy. The other side has to agree to the terms. They may or may not agree. I don't know if they're going to agree. She hasn't done an interview. She can't do an interview. She's barely competent, and she can't do an interview.
Dude, you
But I
can't
look
do a
forward to
fucking
the
press
debates
conference.
Because I think we
What?
have to set the record straight. Why is it that millions of people were allowed to come into our country from prisons, from jails, from mental institutions, insane asylums, even insane asylums? That's it's a mental institution on steroids. That's what it is. When you see the people that are coming into these are institutions that are being emptied out, not
Incredible.
in South
Incredible
America,
brain
all over
on
the
this dude
world,
right now.
including South America, all over the world. Prisons are being emptied out into our country because we have a president that's the worst president in the history of our country. We have a vice president who is the least admired, least respected, and the worst vice president in the history of our country, the most unpopular vice president. And because of political reasons or because of being politically correct,
What?
even though she never received a vote. Don't forget, she was the first one defeated, as I remember it, because I watched it very closely, but she was the first one. She never made it to Iowa, the first state. She never made it to Iowa. She was the first one that was defeated. She was the nastiest to him. She was nasty with calling him a racist and the school bus and all of the different things. She was very nasty to Biden. And shockingly, he appointed her, asked her to serve as
Shocking.
vice
Like,
president. Well,
not
I
every
don't know if he's
politician
happy about
views it
that
as a
decision
zero-sum
right
game
now.
of
This was taken
favors.
away. The presidency was taken away from Joe Biden. And I'm no Biden fan, but I'll tell you what, from a constitutional standpoint, from any standpoint you look at, they took the presidency away. And people were saying he lost after the debate. He couldn't win. Well, I don't know that that's true necessarily. But whether he could win or he couldn't win, he had the right to run. And they took it away. They said they're going to use the 25th Amendment. They're going to hit you hard. Either we can do it the nice. I know exactly because I know a lot of people on the other side, believe it or not. And they said, we'll do it the nice way or we'll do it the hard way. And he said, all right. So that, I mean, they've really taken, what they've done is pretty incredible. And now I'm running against somebody else, and we're leading. We're leading. So I'm not complaining. I'm saying for a country with a constitution that we cherish this constitution. To have done it this way is pretty severe, pretty horrible. You would have thought they would have gone out to a vote. They would have had a primary system. They would have done something, but to just take it away from him like he was a child. And he's a very angry man right now.
One Rashawn,
tell you
one
that.
address to you, and one
He's not
redirect.
happy with
Boo.
Obama,
Fuck.
and he's not happy with Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy. She is crazy, too. She's not happy with any of the people that told him that you've got to leave. He's very unhappy, very angry, and I think he also blames her. He's trying to put up a good face, but it's a very bad thing in terms of a country when you do that. I'm not a fan of his, as you probably have noticed, and he had a rough debate, but that doesn't mean that you just take it away like that. Or you go out to a vote, you do something. He had 14 million votes. She had no votes. She got no votes. And I think she's crashing. I think when people find out, and I think people are starting to find out what a bad job she did, what a bad job she did on the border. She's trying to say she had nothing to do with the border.
God, this is
Did
straight
everything.
up
She was appointed to head
free
the border,
association.
And then they said border czar. Oh, she loved that name. She loved that name.
No, I
but
think
she
he
never
is
went there.
genuinely scared that
She went
he's
to a
going to be
location
pressured to step
once
down
along
right
the
now.
border, but that was a location that you would love to go and have dinner with your husband or whoever.
What the
That
fuck?
was a location that was not part of the problem. That was not really going to the border. So essentially, she never went to the border. And if you listen to Tom Holman, if you listen to the great border people, Brandon Judd from Border Patrol, if you listen to Paul, I mean, so many different people. I speak to them all the time. And I did when I was president. We had the best border in the history of our country. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. Millions of people coming in. And
Worst
our country
border in
cannot
the history
sustain
of the
it.
world,
Our country
y'all.
is going down.
History
because
of the
because
world.
incompetent people. So I just look forward to these debates. I think it's very important that we have them. I hope she agrees to them. September 4th, September 10th, September 25th. And I think they'll be very revealing. I think they'll be very revealing. Do you have
Boy,
any
will
questions,
they.
Liz?
Okay, so this was just all about debate shit. Damn it, I got
haven't
my hopes up that he'd step
recalculated
down.
it all. It's the same policies. Open borders, weak on crime. I think Biden, because he got forced into the position. She was there long before. She destroyed San Francisco. She destroyed California as the AG. But as the DA, she destroyed San Francisco. A friend of mine, Bob Tisch, all know the Tisch family. He was in many cities with companies. He said the greatest city in the country is San Francisco. That was about 20 years ago. And he passed away a while ago, and he would be looking down and said, what happened? He thought it was the best city in the country. He had divisions there, Lowe's. And he would be looking down in horror now when he sees she destroyed no cash bail, weak on crime. She's terrible. And yet they weaponized the system against me. They have me. I got so many lawyers. Now they want to delay cases. I won the big case in Florida. I won the big case. Nobody even wrote about it. The big case, the judge was a brilliant judge, and all they do is they play the ref with the judges. But this judge was a fair but brilliant judge. And as you probably heard, the big documents case, I won it.
You ever notice how when he wins a case, it's a
because he
fair
didn't have
judge? When he loses a case, it's not a fair judge?
immunity. He didn't have the Presidential Records Act. He lost it, but the special, I call it prosecutor, special counsel, special prosecutor to me, he...
the fuck is this
him,
going? Sour
appointed
over a
by
real race now?
Garland.
Yeah.
He said the man's incompetent. He can't stand trial, but he can run for president. But we no longer have to worry about that because we have somebody that, in my opinion, is more incompetent. She couldn't pass her bar exam and lots of other things, and she should not be in a position because if she becomes president, our country is going to be a giant fail. It's going to fail. It's going to be a failure the likes of which this world has never
Epic
seen.
fail, bro.
Yeah, please. How about you?
Yeah, no, epic fail, exactly.
You have to speak louder.
That's the sound of Trump bombing. He is on one.
Yeah.
Like, man, they are. Maybe it's just because we don't have Biden to listen to constantly anymore to compare him to. So we can't be like, fuck, at least, he's doing better than Biden. But, like.
Well, it changes around a little bit. I'm getting
terrible
other voters.
Terrible performance here.
Perhaps, I was doing very well with black voters, and I still am. I seem to be doing very well with
a faulty
black
Clockwork
males.
Orange, just a
This
brief
is
note.
according to
Trump is a
Paul,
famous
as you know.
teetotaler. He doesn't drink alcohol at all.
It's possible that I won't do as well with
despite
black women,
his
but I do
his
seem to be doing very well with other segments.
the appearance
extremely well with
his appearance of
Hispanic,
ineptitude and drunkenness, he actually doesn't
Jewish
drink any
voters
alcohol.
way up.
Never has.
White males way
he's
up.
deathly
White
afraid of
males have gone through
alcoholism.
the
I
roof.
believe it
White
runs in his
males
family.
Way up. No, I don't know. All we're
Yep,
doing is
he is
giving
he
you
is
the,
famously straight
the
edge.
stats
That's
you
why
have.
the fixation with
It
like
could
Diet
be
Coke
that I'll
and
be
shit.
affected somewhat with black females where we're doing pretty well.
I don't think he's ever
And I
done.
think
He doesn't
ultimately
strike me
they'll
as like the
me better
cocaine
because I'm
party
gonna give
type,
them
but
security,
like he's
safety, and
almost
jobs.
certainly
I'm
done
gonna
like
give them a
stimulants and
good
stuff.
economy.
Well, cocaine is a
We
stimulant,
have
but you
a
know what I
very
mean,
bad
like
economy right now.
like focus
we
drugs,
could literally
like
be on the
Adderall and
throes
shit.
of
I
a
wouldn't doubt.
depression, not recession, a depression.
Oh yeah, his
And
brother
they
died
can't
of
have that.
alcoholism. Yep.
They can't have that. So I think I'm going to
That's
do
what it
well
was.
with everybody, especially when the facts are out. Yeah, please, in the back. Well, I don't know. I know Josh Shapiro. He's a
No, you're good.
terrible
I was just letting
guy,
you know.
and he's not very popular with anybody. I think that this election maybe is better than Josh Shapiro would have been. But I think other than Josh Shapiro, I think she had some good choices. But Josh Shapiro is not one of them. He's caused a lot of damage with a lot of people. And I don't think he would have been better. I think he would have been maybe the equivalent, maybe not as good. But they had some people that they were looking at that were good, far superior to her. They actually had a story where they had everybody, including, they had like 10 people that she was looking at and her. And they said she was the worst of all. In other words, she was the worst out of the 10 people and her.
Then that's why they picked her as the runner. What?
I don't know how that's going to work out. We'd like to do 3 debates. We think we should do 3 debates. We think Fox and ABC. And we also have CBS is going to do the vice presidential debate. So CBS will do vice presidential. And I have to tell you, J.D. Vance has really stepped up. He's doing a fantastic job.
Is he? Is he?
Say it. Oh, give me a break. Listen, I had 107,000 people in New Jersey. You didn't report it. I'm so glad you asked. What did she have yesterday? 2,000 people? If I ever had 2,000 people, you'd say my campaign is finished. It's so dishonest.
He is so fixated. He always has been fixated with numbers. And like, I love that story that Pete Davidson shared where he was like, he wouldn't stop talking about ratings when he guested on SNL. But like, you hear it, he is so fixated on having the bigger number. Like, doesn't matter what's being said. Doesn't matter like how many people were actually there. It's like, that is his value to him. Like, you are worth as many people as you can draw
10
out.
times, 20 times, 30
Sounds like
times
terminal
the crowd
fucking
size.
marketing brain.
And no, they never say the crowd was big. That's why I'm always saying turn around the cameras. I'm so glad you asked that. I think it's so terrible when you say, well, she has 1,500 people, 1,000 people, and they talk about, oh, the enthusiasm. Let me tell you, we have the enthusiasm. The Republican Party, and me as a candidate, but the Republican Party has the enthusiasm because people want to see crime stopped. They want to see a country that's respected. Think of it. If I were president, you wouldn't have Russia and Ukraine, where it never happened. 0 chance. You wouldn't have had October 7th of Israel. You wouldn't have the horrible withdrawal. And I don't mean the withdrawal because the withdrawal was fine. I was ready to withdraw from Afghanistan, and we were going to do it with dignity and strength. And we were keeping our equipment. We weren't leaving $85 billion worth of equipment behind. And we wouldn't have had 13 great soldiers. I know the families of those soldiers. Well,
yeah, sure.
We wouldn't have had these soldiers.
You know
killed.
the families of those soldiers.
45 soldiers obliterated. No legs, no arms, the face.
God damn.
None of that would have happened. And you wouldn't have had inflation. You wouldn't have had any inflation because inflation was caused by their bad energy problems. Now they've gone back to the Trump thing because they need the votes. I don't know if you know, they're drilling
talking about it
now because they had to go back because gasoline was going up to $7, $8, $9 a barrel. So they said we better do what Trump. But the day after the election, if they won, you're going to have fuel prices go through the roof. Everybody's going to be forced to buy an electric car, which they're not going to do because they don't want that. It's got a great market. It's got a market. It's really a sub-market. People want gas.
See, he has to throw that in there for Elon. He has to throw that in there for Elon. People, hey, nobody wants to buy an electric car, but hey, you know, there's some good stuff. Some people like electric cars. It's a sub-market. What the fuck are you talking about?
And you know what else?
Yeah, this was an emergency press conference.
They want all trucks to be electric. Little things that a lot of people don't talk about. The weight of a truck is 2.5 times heavier. You would have to rebuild every bridge in this country.
He just
if you were going
sounds
to do this ridiculous
like a
policy.
fucking
So,
child reading off
but on
like his book of
crowd size-
truck facts.
In history, for any country, nobody's had crowds like I have, and you know that. And when she gets 1,000 people and everybody starts jumping, you know that if I had 1,000 people would say, that's the end of his campaign. I have hundreds of thousands of people. In South Carolina, I had 88,000 people. In Alabama, I had 68,000 people. Nobody says about crowd size with me. But she has 1,000 people or 1,500 people, and they say, oh, the enthusiasm's back. No. The enthusiasm is with me and the Republican Party because they want to stop crime. They want to stop people from pouring into our country from places unknown and from countries.
See, I think
unknown.
people are getting
From
fucking
countries that
tired of this
nobody
shit.
ever heard
Like
of.
even a lot of
That's where the
conservatives and a lot of
enthusiasm-
middle of the road people, I think, are fucking tired of this. Like it's just the same droning on bullshit, and years now have proven it all.
Yeah.
Like how many people have been listening for 8, 12 years about, oh, the border. Millions of people are coming in a year. You don't fucking see those illegal immigrants. That shit,
I
it
don't
never
know. I don't know if I
manifests.
can or not.
There never
I
turns
got
out to
him
be a
elected.
caravan that
Without me, he
overruns
wouldn't
our
be governor.
borders
I
and
got him
invades
elected.
us.
He was doing terribly. I got him elected. With that being said, I hope we can repair it. But if we don't, the people are still the people, and they're going to vote. We're leading in Georgia by a lot. We're leading in Pennsylvania by a lot. So, but I don't know. Now in Pennsylvania, I have great relationships. In Georgia, I do too, but unfortunately not with the governor. I've never understood it. When you get somebody elected, they're supposed to
Cuddly
like
Fish,
you.
thank you
He's
for
not
$5. I don't
exactly,
even think he knows what he's
for some
jabbering about.
reason, you'll have
This
to
is
ask him
fully
about that.
off the cuff.
Yeah, I'd
we
love
are
to
we
see
are
it get
in
repaired. I
in
think
the
that
danger zone at this
if we
point.
don't
We
win
are
Georgia,
in
it's a
full
big- it's a big
improv
win, it's a
territory,
big
I think.
stake. So I won Alabama by a record. Nobody's ever gotten that many votes. I won South Carolina by a record. You don't win Alabama and South Carolina by records and lose Georgia. It doesn't happen. And the people of Georgia understand that. There was tremendous anxiety and problems in Georgia. A lot of people say, what happened? And we have to, all we want is honest elections. If we have honest elections in Georgia, if we have honest elections in Pennsylvania, we're going to win them by a lot.
Yeah, I guess this must be the emergency to announce that hey, there's gonna be debates.
Well, he actually said it two ways. First, he said it incorrectly, then he corrected himself. Do you agree with that, right? You know, if you watch him, he said it two ways. No. I mean, he said it two ways because he doesn't really know what he said. Why didn't he bring it up at the debate? You know, he had a chance for 90 minutes to bring it up at the debate. He could have talked about that at the debate, and he didn't do it. Everyone said, oh, he said this and he said that. He's just, you know, they give him something to read off. He read it very badly because he actually said it the opposite. Then he had to go back and correct himself. He said the opposite. He should have brought this up at the debate. If he had a problem, of course there'll be a peaceful transfer. And there was last time. And there'll be a peaceful
The
transfer.
fuck?
I
There
just
was
think we're
last
gonna have
time?
honest
Bro!
elections, that's all. Okay?
How? Somebody in the crowd, reporters, please jump on that.
What a stupid question this is. Because I'm leading by a lot and because I'm letting their convention go through, and I am campaigning a lot.
Leading
I'm doing
by a lot.
tremendous
God.
amounts of taping here. We have commercials that are at a level I don't think that anybody's ever done before. Plus, in certain cases, I see many of you in the room where I'm speaking to you on phones, I'm speaking to radio, I'm speaking to television. Television's coming over here. Excuse me, what are we doing right now? She's not doing any news conference. You know why she's not doing it? Because she can't do a news conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead
Not
this country.
smart enough to
because
do
our
a news
country's
conference.
never
Dude,
been
you-
in this
the-
danger before.
What
Both
intelligence are you
economically and from
exhibiting
an
is required
outside-
to do a news
from an
conference? You
outside
are-
perspective. Russia doesn't respect us
What?
anymore. China doesn't respect us
God
anymore.
damn.
North Korea, Kim Jong-un, liked me a lot. He doesn't like this group. We are in great danger. We're in great danger of being in World War III. That could happen. After their convention, yeah. And I'm going out. Actually, I'm going out to certain places to help certain senators get elected. Not even for me. I'm trying to help when I go out to Wyoming or when I go out to Montana, or I'm going to different places to help people. And I don't have to go there because I'm leading those states, as you know, by 35, 40, 50 points. I'm leading by record numbers. I'm going because I want to help senators and congressmen get elected. congressmen and women get elected. Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead. The upcoming what? Oh, yeah. Yeah, the Elon Musk. So, yeah, sure. So Elon called me. As you know, he
squashing the
endorsed me
truth between his
full-throated.
tiny accordion.
Great endorsement. I respect Elon a lot. He respects
Oh yeah,
me.
now you respect him a
And
lot.
not
Not when
easy
you
for
were
him to
talking about him
endorse, to be
basically
honest with
sucking
you.
your
It
dick
takes
to get
courage
any
to
Tesla
endorse,
contracts a couple years ago.
People, many people have
Oh,
courage,
man.
and many people don't. He does have courage. And
does.
Elon endorsed me, and he asked me whether or not I'd do a show on Monday, and I think it's going to be Monday night. And I believe he's the host of the show, so it'll be very interesting. A lot of people are talking about it. I look forward to it. That'll be done on Monday night. Well, you have a lot of misinformation spread about China, and you have a lot of misinformation spread about a lot of different places. I think I'm going to get along great with China. President Xi of China and I were very good friends. We met right here, right in that, except we had a beautiful sofa there, as opposed to what we have right now. Right now we have you. But President Xi and I had a very good relationship until COVID. And I held him responsible for COVID. It broke up our relationship. But I think we're going to have a great relationship. And I think it's
what is that based
mutually
on?
Beneficial. But
If you're talking, you ruined your relationship with him over COVID, and now you're gonna have a good relationship.
Doing, as you very well know. Yes,
Also,
please.
yeah. Oh, it scared me. Thank you for that. Sorry, I cannot turn down the notifications. Unfortunately, the stream is incredibly quiet, and I don't know why.
What's your question? No, I think the people that, if you look at January 6th, which a lot of people aren't talking about very much, I think those people were treated very harshly. When you
Dude,
compare them to
tons
other
of people
things that
talk
took
about
place in
January
this
6th.
country
Fucking
where a lot
what?
of people were killed. Nobody was killed on January 6th. But I think that the people of January 6th were treated
Nobody
very
was
unfairly.
killed on
And
January
they were there to
6th?
complain, not through me. They were there to complain about an election. And, you know, it's very interesting. The biggest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I said peacefully and patriotically, which nobody wants to
I heard
say.
that right, correct?
Peacefully and patriotically. The biggest crowd
Like, chat,
I've ever
I
spoken to,
didn't
and
just
you've seen
mishear
Maggie,
that.
I was at the mall. I was at the Washington
Holy
Monument. I was at the whole thing. I had crowds. I don't know who's ever had a bigger crowd than I have, but I had it
Ashley
many times.
Babbitt's
The
mom
biggest crowd I've ever spoken before
goes
was
to
that
Trump
day.
rallies.
And I'll tell
Ashley
you,
Babbitt's mom was at CPAC
It's very
and
hard
started
to
a
find
chant
picture of
during
that
his
day. You see the
speech.
picture of a small number
The
of
woman who
people
was shot, the
relatively
Trump
going
supporter who was
to
shot
the
on
Capitol.
January 6th,
But you never
follows
see the
Trump
picture
around the
of
country to speak at his
crowd.
rallies.
The biggest crowd I've ever spoken. I've spoken to the biggest crowds. Nobody's spoken to crowds bigger than me. If you look at Martin Luther King, when he
Holy
did
fuck.
his speech, his great speech, and you look at ours, same real estate, same everything.
Incredible.
Same number of people, if not, we had more. And they said he had 1 million people, but I had 25,000 people. But when you look at the exact same picture, and everything's the same because it was the fountains, the whole thing, all the way back to from Lincoln to Washington, and you look at it, and you look at the picture of his crowd, my crowd, we actually had more people. They said I had 25,000, and he had 1 million people, and I'm okay with it because I liked Dr. Martin Luther King. Yeah, please.
I'm okay with that because I like Dr. Martin Luther King. That is so goddamn bonkers. Like, even as a slip, that's so fucking crazy to go on a stage and say, dude.
Yeah, sure. We have a constitution. It's a very important document, and we live by it. She has no votes, and I'm very happy to run against her. I'm not complaining from that standpoint.
Yeah, you are.
And
Don't
I hate to be
fucking don't do
defending
that.
him,
Come on, dude.
But he did not want to leave. He wanted to see if he could win. They said, you're not going to win after the debate. They said, you're not going to win. You can't win. You're out. And at first they said it nicely, and he wasn't leaving. And then you know it better than anybody. Wait a minute. So when you think about it, they said at first they were going to go out to another vote. They were going to go through a primary system, a quick primary system, which it would have to be. And then it all disappeared, and they just picked a person that was the first out. She was the first loser, okay? So we call her the first loser. She was the first loser,
We call
when
he
during the
just
primary
came up with
system,
that.
during
He
the
was just like,
Democrat
okay, I've been
primary
looking
system,
for
she was the
something
first
for
one to
Kamala.
quit, and she
First
quit.
loser, got it, nailed
She
it.
had no votes, no support, and she was a bad debater, by the way, very bad debater.
Oh boy.
And that's not the thing I'm looking forward to, but she was a bad debater. She did obviously a bad job. She never made it to Iowa. Then for some reason, and I know he regrets it, you do too, he picked her, and she turned on him too. She was working with the people that wanted him out. But the fact that you can get no votes, lose in the primary system, in other words, you had 14 or 15 people, she was the first one out, and that you can then be picked to run for president, it seems to me actually unconstitutional. Perhaps it's not. Please. So I've run against Hillary, and I've run against various other people. I would say that in terms of intelligence, Hillary was far superior. I would say that. Hillary was smart. She was her own worst enemy in many ways, but she was smart.
God, he's so full of shit.
If you asked me to compare him, please. Would you repeat that question, please? You have to speak up. It's a hard room because it's very big, if you know. So this is worth $18 million. Oh, I see. Yeah. So I think the abortion issue has been very much tempered down, and I've answered, I think, very well in the debate, and it seems to be much less of an issue, especially for those where they have the exceptions, as you know. And I think it's when I look for 52 years, they wanted to bring abortion back to the states. They wanted to get rid of Roe v. Wade, and that's Democrats, Republicans, and independents, and everybody. Liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back in the states, and I did that. Now the states are voting. And frankly, some of the votes are much more, if you could say, liberal than you would think. Ohio turned out to be...
He's completely out of touch with reality. I mean, like Jackie says, that has been his way the entire, like his entire political career has been him just like trying to manifest what he wants to happen into reality.
It may be different.
Despite the reality that everybody, that is apparent to everybody.
Exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly. I think that that's a very important thing. I think when you have to follow your heart. But when you don't believe in the exceptions, I think it's much tougher. It's a much tougher issue. But about 82% of Republicans do believe in exceptions. I think and a lot of them are changing their mind and coming even further. I think that abortion has become much less of an issue. It's I think it's actually going to be a very small issue. What I've done is I've done what every Democrat and every Republican wanted to have done, and we brought that issue back to the states. And now the states are voting on it. And frankly, some of the votes are a lot different than people would have thought. But it's the vote of the people is taking care of it. And, when you think about the Democrats are really the radical ones on this because they're allowed to do abortion on the 8th and 9th month and even after birth. If you look at your new...
Good God. Abortion after birth. Here we go again.
Minnesota, he's like the governor previous, the former governor. I don't want to get him mixed up because Glenn is doing a good job and he's leading our whole campaign in Virginia, Glenn Youngkin. But previous to Glenn, the governor, he said the baby will be born. We will put the baby aside and we will decide with the mother what we're going to do. In other words, whether or not we're going to kill the baby. The Minnesota gentleman, this guy agrees with that.
This guy?
He is the most liberal. Look, between her and him, there's never been anything like this. There's never been a combination. So I'll use the word progressive. They want to go progressive. They don't like the word liberal. I like liberal better. I think it's more appropriate.
What the fuck?
Nobody knows what progressive means. But they now like to use the word progressive. But there's certainly never been
wow,
anything so
dude.
like these two. or even close.
If I
think
thought he had the
abortion issue
cognizance,
has been,
I would think that he
taken
would be
down many
fucking
notches. I don't think it's of. I don't think
like
it's
trying
a
to
big
tank his
factor
own
anymore,
campaign.
really.
Nobody
And when
knows
people
what
hear
progressive
what I
means.
said in the debate, and I think I said it very well during the debate. We brought it back to the states. Everybody wanted it in the states, and very importantly, and you think about this, assuming you have exceptions. If you don't have exceptions, it's a more difficult thing. At the same time, there are people that strongly feel that way, and you have to follow your heart, and you should follow your heart. But that issue is very much subdued. Yeah, thank you. About who? Yes. No, I didn't. Look, if you take away guns, she wants to take away everyone's gun. If you take away
What
guns,
did I say? What did I
do
say?
it.
You can't fucking
Because
you
people
can't
need
say
guns
that
for protection.
anymore. Nobody's gonna
Now,
fucking believe you when
entertainment,
Tim
they wanted
Walz.
hunting, they would, different things. But they need weapons for protection in this country. People live out in the woods, and they're not going to have.
Tim
a
Walz
gun.
is a responsible gun ownership
You look at it,
advocate.
some countries, I don't want to get them in trouble, but some countries have actually gone the opposite way. They had very strong gun laws,
What the
and now
fuck is-
they have gone the opposite way, where they allowed people to have guns, where in one case they encouraged people to go out and get guns, and crime is down 29%.
What the fuck are you talking about? What country?
Remember this.
Some countries, I don't want
What
to
is
blow
the
up their
toughest
spot.
gun law
I don't want to blow up
in
these
the United
countries'
States?
spot.
Chicago. On July
I'll thank you
4th,
very much for $10. I can feel my brain leaking out of my ears while
people were
listening to
shot
this
and
as I deliver
17
political
died.
mail. Please help. This
the
is fucking.
toughest gun laws in the United States are in the city of Chicago. You know that. They had 117 people shot. Afghanistan does not have that. Afghanistan, by the way, was the lowest point in the history of our country, in my opinion.
He's
That
just
was the
doing free
worst
association now.
Embarrassment to the history of this country.
He
and
just
I said
decided to
Putin
mention
would not have gone
Afghanistan
into
and was
Ukraine
like,
if
by the way,
didn't
that
happen.
reminds me,
When he saw the
Afghanistan,
incompetence of
embarrassment.
Milley and all these guys that are incompetent. When he saw that happen, when they took out the soldiers first, they took out the soldiers first. You know,
Can you
if
plug your
go back and
Patreon?
check your
Yes, give
records,
me a second.
For 18 months, I had a talk with Abdul. Abdul was the leader of the Taliban, still is. But I had a strong talk with him. For 18 months, not one American soldier was shot at or killed, but not even shot at.
I can't fucking
18
wait for
months,
the.
and then we had the disaster of the lift, where people were falling off airplanes from 3 times the height of the World Trade Center. I mean, terrible. But now our country has to be respected again. Please. Go ahead, please. I'd be against that. That Kamala is in favor of not giving Israel weapons? Yeah. That's what I hear. Look, she's been very, very bad to Israel, and she's been very bad to Jewish people. And I say it, if anybody I know is Jewish and they would vote for Kamala over me, they should have their head examined. If you think about it, I gave them Golan Heights. I gave them the capital of Israel, Jerusalem.
I
even
gave them
built
the capital of
embassy.
Israel. Jesus
I gave
fuck,
them
man.
no Iran deal. The problem is they didn't do anything with it. Iran was broke. We could have made a deal so easily. I would have had a deal done within 1 week after the election with Iran. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. We would have gotten
All right,
along
I am
with Iran.
plugging my
I was
Patreon
looking
in the
forward to
Twitch
it.
chat.
I was fine with Iran. You know, we hit them a couple of times pretty
If
hard.
anybody would like to give,
But
I
we
do
would have been
appreciate
fine
it.
with Iran.
Does he hear?
But
I know he
got
had an
them-
ear
I
injury.
terminated
He
that
did
deal. I
media
got them
breakdown.
the
He didn't have an
Abraham
ear injury.
Accords.
He's fine.
Everyone said that's
He's fine.
impossible. I got them the Abraham Accords. She's been very, very bad to Israel, and she's been very bad and disrespectful
By the way,
to Jewish people.
definition
and any
of being-
Jewish person that votes for Kamala and her friend, her new friend, who I don't know if she knew him before, but I don't think he's too good. But anybody that votes for them, if you're Jewish or if you love Israel, you have to have your head examined. Go ahead, please. They have. The FBI came to see me about the shooter. I think they've done a very good job. And I think they did a very good job with respect to this other lunatic that they have in custody. Please. Yeah. Well, I know Willie Brown very well. In fact, I went down
I
in
don't
a
think he
helicopter
knows
with him. We
Tim
thought
Walz's
maybe this is
name.
the end. We were in a helicopter.
Like if I'm being
going to a
honest, he
certain
hasn't said
location
Tim Walz
together.
once. He keeps saying
And there was
that
an
guy.
emergency landing.
Like he keeps just
This
like
was not a pleasant landing.
not really
And
referring
Willie
to him.
he was a little concerned. So I know him. I know him pretty well. I mean, I haven't seen him in years. But he told me terrible things about her. But this is what you're telling me anyway, I guess. But he had a big part in what happened with Kamala. But he I don't know, maybe he's changed his tune, but he was not a fan of hers very much at that point. Yeah, I do. Go ahead.
Thank
When
you,
what?
CineGen, for tier 1 for 3 months. Yeah, he's. I think
Well,
he
I'm
doesn't
gonna
know who
announce
Tim
that.
Walz
I'm gonna
is.
actually have a press conference on that at some point in the near future, so
Oh,
I don't want
goody.
to tell you now. But Florida does have a vote coming up on that, and I think probably the vote will go in a little more liberal way than people thought. But I'll be announcing that at the appropriate time. Please.
He's genuinely not ready to fight the Kamala Walz ticket. This was genuinely a total surprise to me. No, no, he's not. No, there is a reason why he's been freaking out so hard about Kamala. Is it because he knows? I mean, listen to this. He has nothing.
Tremendous for child care and all of that. No, our tax cuts, which are the biggest in history. Our
Like
tax
if he
cuts are
if he
coming
was
due,
on the
as you know, very
ball,
soon.
talking about
And
the
if
Palestine thing would have been
Democrats
so
don't
fucking
renew
easy
them
for
or
him,
make it
or it should have
impossible,
been
because
if he
it's
knew what
pretty
the fuck
close,
was happening. Because
in
Kamala
terms of
just
votes.
fucked up on
If
stage
they
last
don't
night by
renew
chiding a
them,
bunch of
it's the
pro-Palestine
equivalent of
protesters.
having a 4 times tax increase from what you have right now, and it'll destroy
Like
the economy.
he could easily try
I
and
think
attack
they're
the
under
Dems over
tremendous
that.
pressure to do it.
No
I've
idea.
never seen,
Attacks
all
her for
my
being.
life, I
He,
grow
instead,
up and
he
I
sets the
watch
meter
politics,
back
and I
by
used to
saying,
be
"Oh,
on the
she's
other
too
side
hard
of
on
politics,
Israel."
so then I
Like,
ran
are you
for
fucking
office.
kidding?
But in all the
2B
years
and
of studying
323, thank you
politics,
for
I've
super
never
chatting
seen
5
people
bucks. You
get
can
elected
hear he's
by
very
saying, "We're
needy,
gonna
wants
give you a
approval
tax
desperately, can't go
increase."
sentence without
These
bragging or
guys
turning
get
down
out, think
someone
of
else.
it.
Well,
We're gonna
that's
give you no
him.
security. We're gonna give
That's
you a
him.
weak military.
Why the heck does your
We're going
Twitch
to
have a
give you
warning
no
for sexual
walls,
content?
No borders, no anything.
I don't know.
We're going all these
Does it?
things they're doing. I mean, the transgender became such a big thing. that they do
Transgender
all of
became
these
such a
things,
big
but they
thing.
always say,
True.
we're going to give you a tax increase. I never heard anybody campaign on a tax increase. A politician has always said, I will cut taxes. I'll give you one
Who the
example.
fuck is saying tax increase?
Social
I
Security.
know, Joe,
They're
dude,
gonna
we're so
destroy
big
Social
now.
Security. I am
Transgender
going to
is so
leave
hot
Social
right
Security.
now.
I'm not raising the years. I'm not raising the age. I will be saving Social Security, and I'm going to work it out that there's no tax on Social Security for seniors. I'm also doing
Intended for
no
certain audiences?
tax on tips. No tax on tips. So waiters, waitresses,
That's his
caddies,
one
people
thing
that
he
drive
has.
cars,
That's the one
people
thing
get
that
tips
he's
who have
trying to
been
throw out
harassed
to
by
like,
this
hey,
government.
I
We're gonna
give a
have
fuck
no
about like
tax on
the
tips.
small
That's a big
people
thing.
too. Tax big trans. Big trans for whatever reason. I'm going to allow that skate penguin.
Yeah,
Big
no.
trans for whatever reason is tripping
Because other
the
people have done
algorithm.
far bigger things than Steve Bannon. Sure, it's politically motivated. I think it's a horrible thing they did. Look, they've weaponized government against me. Look at the Florida case. It was a totally weaponized case. All of these cases, by the way, the New York cases are totally controlled out of the Department of Justice. They sent their top person to the various places. They went to the AG's office, got that one going. Then he went to the DA's office, got that one going, ran through it. No, this is all politics, and it's a disgrace. Never happened in this country. It's very common that it happens, but not in our country. It happens in banana republics and third world countries.
I don't think
And
he
that's
actually
what
knows
we're
what a
becoming.
banana republic is.
We have no borders. We have bad voting regulations. Anytime you have mail-in ballots, you're
like
gonna have
people
problems.
like him are the reason
France
banana
learned that
republics
lesson.
happen.
You know, France had all mail-in voting, and they went back to paper ballots.
Like banana republics
voter
are corrupt
identification, voter ID.
because
They
of
went
how
back
they're
to
run,
a
how they're
normal
organized
system, one
by
day
outside
voting.
forces.
They don't want to
What the
be
fuck are you
around,
talking about?
Voting for 64 days and look, the election. I keep talking about November 5th, but the election really starts on September 6th. That's when it starts because it's early voting.
I cannot
We should
raise
have
the
one-day
YouTube
voting.
volume for whatever
We should
reason
have
the
paper
player didn't
ballot.
load it. Like I
Yeah,
can
we
turn
should
it
have
off, but I
proof of
cannot
citizenship,
raise
please.
it.
No, the gentleman in back.
Oh yeah, this is how if y'all haven't ever watched my CPAC videos, this is how
Who?
every speech of his goes. This is nothing new to me.
You're gonna have to talk louder, sir.
And I am enjoying how fucking like tired and jaded he is. Like the man has been worried about this for sure. God, wouldn't it be?
Elon is a very
Elon.
different kind of a guy. He's a very big believer in the country, but he's very worried about the country. He's very worried about the country. And I don't
Yeah.
know if it's good for him politically to have supported me, although I think we have a vast majority of this country does support me.
Vast majority
But
of the country.
Elon, more than almost anybody I know. I mean, he loves this country. He loves the concept of the country. But like me, he says this country is in big trouble. It's in tremendous danger.
It couldn't have anything to
please.
do with the fact that both you and Elon are being brought up on charges, credibly, are involved in lawsuits against you for breaking laws and
I
shit.
like this guy. I like him. Yeah.
Like, I'm sure him aligning with you
The
has
polls
nothing
have
to do with
suggested.
that.
There are some polls that say we're going to win in a landslide. People are voting with their stomachs, meaning they go into the grocery store. They're paying 50, 60,
okay.
70%
Yeah,
more for
no,
food
explain
than they
that
did
one.
just a couple of years ago. Look at what's happened to energy. Look at what's happened not only to their cars. where
Okay, so people should be getting
gasoline's
paid
gone
more,
from
right?
187,
Because billionaires are still raking in record
We had
profits.
moments when it was below that.
That's not
But it's gone
inflation
from
then.
$1.87 to $5, $6, and $7.
That money can be going
And
to
they
people
take the strategic
to help them
national
afford things.
reserves
Are you
and
going to
they
make
take
sure
it
that
out,
businesses
even though
are
it's
paying
peanuts
their
compared,
employees
it
more?
doesn't last long.
Seems like that's
But
kind of
they're
the thing you should
virtually
be attacking
empty
if you
now.
gave
We've
a fuck.
never had it this low.
Never go to
And
the
he's
polls on an
using
empty
that
stomach.
to keep
True.
the gasoline prices as low as possible. He's sucked all of the oil out, essentially the gasoline, to keep the price down a little bit, and it's had very little impact. But you know what? We have no strategic national reserves now. He's emptied it. It's almost empty. It's never been this low. And I had it at a good level, and I would have had it more if the Democrats would have approved the deal. You know, I had a deal to buy it at $22 a barrel, and now it's going to be close to 100 pretty soon, my opinion. And the Democrats didn't want to do that, but we bought a lot anyway. And we had
yeah,
it
he's still
pretty
going.
good. And
Annika, I think of
what
gosh,
they've
10
done to
months.
the
It's been
national
almost
reserves
a
and
year since I
strategic
really
national
started
reserves,
streaming,
as
hasn't
you
it?
know very well.
Oh,
as
it'll
you
probably
covered.
be a year this month.
But what they've done is incredible.
Fuck.
They've just, for
Wow.
the sake of getting some votes, for the sake of
100,000
having
subs in
guesses,
about a
that's
year,
meant
y'all.
for wars. It's meant for like
Craziness.
tragedy. It's not meant to keep
Craziness.
a gasoline price down so that somebody can vote for Biden, or in this case, Kamala, who, by the way,
let me
is
see.
worse than Biden, and she's actually not as smart. Okay, she's
Oh,
actually
yes.
not as smart. That's hard to believe, isn't it? Yeah, please.
You're brilliant. Thank you for
Okay.
teaching me the secret.
Sure, you could do things that would supplement, absolutely, and those things are pretty open and humane. But you have to be able to have a vote, and all I
Perfect.
want to do is give everybody a vote, and the votes are taking place right now as we speak. Yeah, but it's a very good. There are many things
The
on a
votes are
humane
taking-
basis that you can do outside of that, but you also have to give a vote, and the people are going to have to decide. Okay, yes, please. You.
Oh, damn, 1% stream
On
viewership.
what?
Yeah.
No, I think she's actually not as smart as he is.
Thank you, Elio.
I don't think he's very
For
smart
$5.
either, by the way. I'm not a big fan of his brain, but I think that she's actually not as smart as he is.
Not a big fan of his brain. Dude, this is like old Trump. Like, we are so
Well,
back. We're going to get the
she's
best
a
of all
woman.
worlds, everybody. We're going to get...
She represents certain groups of people, but I will say this. When people find out about her, I think she'll be much less. I see it right now. I see her going way down.
We're
in the
going to
polls
get
now.
Trump
Now that people are finding out that
like
she destroyed San
flailing,
Francisco.
saying the
She
wildest,
destroyed
dumbest,
the state of
funniest,
California
memeable
along
shit,
with
and he's going to
Governor Gavin
lose.
Newsom. He's been a terrible
Magnifique.
governor, terrible.
Perfect. Love
But they
it.
did
You'd love to see
together.
it, folks.
And she was early. I mean, she was the first of the prosecutors, really. You know, now you see Philadelphia, you see Los Angeles, you see New York, you see various people that are very bad. But she was the first of the bad prosecutors. She was early. Who? Would you repeat that, please? No, you. Would you repeat her, what she said? You have to speak up. This room is very louder.
Not beating the you're the old guy in this debate allegations.
A daily press briefing? Why would I do that? I would give you all the press briefings you want. Look what I'm doing here. But why would I do a daily press? You'd get tired of me very fast. No, but I will give you total access, and you'll have a lot of press briefings, and you'll have from me. Now, are you talking about from me or from a press secretary? Well, yeah, probably.
Dees really is my last name. Thank you for
daily,
tier 1
You'll have
subby.
more than you want.
More than
please.
you want.
I don't think it's appropriate for me to talk about it. I think it's a tragic story. You want to know the truth. And I felt that with Hillary Clinton, too. You know, with Hillary Clinton, I could have done things to her that would have made your head spin.
Oh, my God.
I thought it was a very bad thing. Take the wife of a president of the United States and put her in jail. And then I see the way they treat me. That's the way it goes. But I was very protective of her. Nobody would understand that, but I was. I think my people understand it. They used to say, lock her up, and I'd say, just relax, please. We won the election. I think it would be very, I think it would have been horrible for our country if we had her.
They used to say, lock her up, and I would say, relax.
And don't forget.
He does know that we,
the United States
like,
Congress,
we fucking,
and then,
we can just
after
look
getting
this
the
shit up,
subpoena,
right?
She destroyed everything that she was supposed to get. I didn't think, I thought it was so bad.
You literally said you were going to
take
lock her up.
And put her in jail, the wife of a president of the United States. And
God.
then,
See, and
when
now,
it's my turn, nobody thinks that way.
Exactly. That's why he's saying this. He is only saying this now because he is in actual danger of being found. I mean, he's already been found guilty, but actually in danger of losing shit. And now he's like, oh, you know, I would never do this to somebody else. You fucking said lock her up for your entire campaign.
I think it would have been very bad for our country. And a lot of my people, a lot of the MAGA, as they call them, but the base. And I think the base is 75% of the country, far beyond the Republican Party, because we're a party of common sense, and I'm a person of common sense. I want to have low taxes. I want to have strong borders. I want to have a strong military so that China and Russia, look, they've allowed China and Russia to do the impossible combined. They're natural enemies. They always have been, because China needs more land and Russia has it. They've always been natural enemies, and because of Obama, it started with him, and then Biden, because he didn't know what the hell he was doing, they've now become one force. And then now they're adding Iran to it, and they're adding North Korea to it. Pretty powerful force. This is something that is unthinkable that they allowed to happen.
He's just fucking like saying like, Russia, Iran, they're out here making the Legion of Doom. They're out here making the Dark Avengers, folks. We got to stop them. Like fucking what? North Korea is joining forces with Russia, everybody.
The honeymoon period's going to look. She's got a little period. She's got a convention coming up. It's about policy. It's not about her. I think she's incompetent because I've watched her. She destroyed California. She destroyed San Francisco. Everything she's touched has turned to bad things. I'm not going to use foul language, but everything she's touched has turned bad.
Decent of you.
She's incompetent. The reason she's not doing what I do and she's not doing what she should be doing, she won't even do interviews with friendly people because she can't do better than Biden. Now, he had a reason for not doing well, and he was never, 25 years ago, the sharpest or brightest bulb in the ceiling. That I can tell you, okay? He wasn't. But he could do interviews at least. Not lately, he couldn't, perhaps. But she should be doing interviews. She doesn't want to do interviews. And the reason she doesn't is, number one, her policies are so bad. Just to answer your question, I think that it's not going to change because it's really ultimately not about her as much as about her policies. She wants open borders. She wants to defund the police. She wants to defund the police. She wants to take away your guns. Anybody that thinks they're not going to come after your guns, you know, when I was president, I totally protected the guns. And I think it's very important. And I know I take some heat sometimes for it. But you have to have safety. You have to have, when the bad guy walks in with a gun, you got to have some way of protecting yourself. And boy, that would be, you would see crime go up at levels that you've never seen. When people say on this side of the house, this house has guns, we will use the guns, they say, let's pass. We'll go someplace else. You have to have them. And for 4 years, and as you know, the NRA endorsed me very powerfully every time I ran, every time. My sons are members, and I guess indirectly I'm a member too. But they gave me the strongest of endorsements, and that's against very strong competition. People that felt the same way. No, you have to have that right. Our Second Amendment is a very important right, and it has to be protected. Okay, how about you? Go ahead. Yeah. So there are some of the most brilliant people on Wall Street that are saying that if President Trump doesn't win, you're going to have a depression. I happen to agree. I think that's true. Because I know how bad these people are. They like to say that they did this and that. You saw the $7 trillion that they said it was me for $7 trillion. It wasn't me. It was them. They said that I had
raised
inflation.
the national debt more than any other president.
Inflation. I had actually no inflation because if you look at the categories, we had just about no inflation. But I had a very minor. I actually had a positive inflation. It was a perfect number because you don't want zero. I mean, I'm not going to give you a whole course on economics, but you don't want zero. 1%, 1.4% is great. You want a little bit because you don't want to have deflation. Deflation is, in many ways, even worse. I had a perfect number right around the 1% number. It was perfect. And to show you, it stayed there for 2 years. And then he did all of the different borrowings that he did. And then he did so many things wrong every time he would
What
do it.
happened with COVID, buddy?
Big mistake. And don't forget, they sell hats and they sell stories. Trump was right about everything. I've been right about a lot. Yes, Maggie?
I've been right about a lot. Dude, we've been able to, literally just tell you're lying through this entire speech. What the fuck are you talking about? I've been right about a lot. Oh, my God.
Well, we had a commission like other people do, and it's always complicated and it's always controversial. And we had commissions that, and I think of respected people, many of the people on the commission, and they would recommend to me certain pardons for certain people. Some people were treated very harshly. A fantastic woman, as you know, she served 24 years for being on a phone call having to do with drugs. You know who I'm talking about. She was great. And she had another 24 years to go. And it was largely about marijuana, which in many cases is now legalized, okay? But we had many very highly regarded people on a commission, and they'd recommend, and they'd put a reason why. Some people were, served time, but they served a lot of time for something that today people wouldn't even serve time by. Well, for the most part, I think they did. I mean, they did. They go through. They went through. I had a commission. It was a very important commission to me, and highly respected people.
The face mask bans? I don't think they can't ban face masks. They can't ban other people wearing masks.
But I let a lot of people out that had no representation.
If somebody just doesn't want to get sick or get sick with the flu, that's their right as Americans to wear a mask. Fuck everybody else. It doesn't affect anybody else.
That was serving
that somebody wants to wear a mask. Fuck you.
That today you wouldn't even be put in jail for.
I'm willing to bet those would be.
We had very few people
quickly overturned. I would say that's really just performative virtue signaling bullshit.
A lot of violence.
They banned masks in NC.
For the most part, we didn't do that. Yeah, please.
Let me look into this.
On defense. Federal Reserve.
Oh, those aren't okay. Those aren't face masks.
The Federal Reserve is a very interesting
medical face
thing.
mask bans.
It's sort of gotten it wrong a lot.
Those are bans for okay. You're talking about bans for protesting with masks.
Late on things. He gets a little bit too early and a little bit too late, and that's very largely it's a gut feeling. I believe it's really a gut feeling. And I used to have
the intention of those is to ban them for
I fought him very hard.
Crime and shit.
And we get along fine. We get along fine. But I feel the president should have at least say in there. Yeah, I feel that strongly. I think that
if it's a full facial covering, that's a big difference.
I made a lot of money. I was very successful, and I think I have a better instinct than
that is
in many cases people that would be on the Federal Reserve or the chairman. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, bans wearing a mask
Well, as
to
we
hide
legalize
identity.
it, I start to agree a lot more because, it's being illegalized all over the country. Florida has something coming
exemptions.
up. I'll be making a statement about that fairly soon. But as we legalize it throughout the country, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's awfully hard to have people all over the jails that are in jail right now for something that's legal. So I think, obviously, there's a lot of sentiment to doing that. Yeah, please.
Anti-Semitic incidents that authorities said were often committed by people wearing masks.
Well, you'll have to ask her that question because she's the one that said it. I didn't say
Will
it. So
apply
you'll have
to
to ask her,
protests,
and I
only
very much
applies
appreciate
to
that
bad
question,
actors, not those wearing
but you'll
face
have to
covers for
ask her.
religious or health
But
reasons.
I've known her for a long time. I actually contributed to her campaign a long time ago because I was a developer. I contributed to lots of campaigns of Democrats,
So
Republicans.
the Dems want to
some
amend
were
the bill.
liberal and some were conservative. But you'll have to ask her about that. But to me, it doesn't matter. But to her, from her standpoint, I think it's very disrespectful to both, really. Whether it's
Dumbasses.
Indian or black, I think it's very disrespectful to both. To me, it doesn't
I think
matter.
it's fucking dumb. I think there shouldn't be mask
Please,
bans
red
at
dress,
all.
Red dress. Yeah. Pretty much recovered. Yeah.
If you
I'm a
can
fast
do
healer.
the same thing,
It's a hell
if
of
you
a
can
shot.
do a,
But I'm
oh
a
yeah,
fast healer.
it sucks
Yeah,
that
pretty
people
much
people have guns and that gun violence is rampant
No,
in
it didn't
America.
hit that. I got very lucky.
But people got to defend themselves.
just-
If you
it
can do
just
that
hit
bullshit
the
and
lobe.
call
It's
on
a-
American freedom, you can do that shit with masks. Like, it sucks
Yeah,
that there are
a little
people
bit, not much.
who have committed crimes
On
wearing
top.
masks. It's
little
fucking
bit.
America. You should be free to wear a mask if you want to, for face coverings, for medical use, for religion, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, are we running the country of the free or not here? Fuck.
Well, we're starting that, yeah. We are going to start the largest mass deportation in the history of our country because we have no choice. It's not sustainable. And we are going to start with violent criminals, and we're going to start then with criminals. And our local police is going to work
Oh, yeah,
with
they
us
won't.
because they know
Like
everything
Marquis
about the
Desaad,
people.
they won't
know
do it
their
for
names,
the
they know
neo-Nazi
everything
rallies.
about them. They know their middle name. They know their numbers. And as you know,
Media
the other
breakdown,
side
thank you for
is trying-
$4.99.
look,
Imagine seeing Joe in charge for
years I
4
wondered,
years
why
with
are
no one
they
taking away
allowing these
guns
people
and
to
being
come in
shot at and
levels
doubling
like
down
this?
on they
It
want to
was
take away your
incredible.
guns.
And I said two reasons.
Republican
They're
mindset
either
in a
really
nutshell.
Stupid, and I don't believe they're
I'll be right back. I'm going to get some water.
Because anybody that can cheat on elections like they cheat is not stupid. Or, in the alternative, they have bad motives or they hate our country. And I used to think they hate our country. But lately I've seen where they're trying to sign these people up to vote. And they have to stop. They cannot let illegal immigrants vote in this upcoming election. All right, one more question.
Really quick. All right, well, he's doing the last one.
Go ahead, one more. Make it a good one, please. Right. We have so many ways of making money in this country. We're not going to affect our Social Security. We're not changing it. And I proved that over 4 years. And we're going to do it. It's very unfair to people.
Hey, Liberty,
they
that's
spend
where
their life and they're great citizens and they pay in. We're
that's
not
where
going
most
to
people. I'll
charge
read your
tax
comment in a
to
section.
our-
I'll read
to
your
Social
comment in a
Security
section
to
because that's a
seniors.
really important point
We're not
about
going to
masks.
do it. We're not going to charge. And also tax. I say the two things. We're going to have no tax on seniors' Social Security, and we're going to have no tax on tips. Very simple. And we are a country that has so many different ways to make money. We have under our feet more liquid gold, I call it oil, and gas, than any country in the world, much more than Saudi Arabia.
Everyone calls it
much more
oil,
than
you
Russia.
stupid motherfucker.
We
What?
have so many different ways we can make
I call
money.
it oil.
We're not going to hurt our seniors.
We
with
have liquid
Social
gold under our
Security,
feet. I call it
and we're not
oil.
going to charge them tax. Okay?
Unfucking believable. Unfucking. I call it oil.
We should not have sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities is a way of protecting criminals, and we should not have sanctuary cities. And if you go to California, and I know it well, I have property out there, great property. If you go to California and you ask the people of California, do they like the idea of sanctuary cities? They don't like it. They're tired of it. They're tired of crime. They're tired of what's happened to our country. Our country's become a crime-ridden mess, and we're going to stop it on November 5th. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
God, look at that fucking Versailles. How does anybody look at his home here? Look at this fucking Louis the 14th ass pad and go, oh yeah, he's a man of the people. He can really represent what America wants. Man. So, really quick, what were you saying? Hey, Liberty. Hey, Liberty in the chat. Had people look at me like I was out of my mind for wearing a mask while grocery shopping. I had pneumonia at the time, highly contagious. You were protecting everyone else. Yeah, that is a, no, actually, I'll pin that real quick because I did not pin that last time if anybody wants to go support me. The thing with masks is that so many people wear them to not get other people sick in addition to not getting sick themselves. And the dumbest part of the entire conservative paranoia about mask wearing has been that mask wearing is just a good health habit. Like, it just is. Like, in Asian countries, it's entirely normal to wear masks so you don't get sick, or if you're sick, you aren't getting other people sick. You don't even need to be immunocompromised. You don't even need to be sick with COVID. Like, there are so many different reasons why people might wear a mask that it comes down to, if you see somebody wearing a mask, shut the fuck up and leave them alone. Who gives a fuck? Maybe they are immunocompromised. Maybe they aren't. Maybe they have a flu. Maybe they're not sure if they have COVID. Who gives a fuck? You could just like the aesthetic. Yeah, exactly. And the idea that, like, people are gonna wear masks, oh, that means they could be committing crimes because they're not gonna be AI profiled by the police scanners. Fucking cool. Good, dude. Like, what? I know when conservatives did it. When the George Bush, like, security state came into being. Like, it was not at all surprising. George Bush security state came into being, not at all surprising that conservatives started, like, just dick riding and dick sucking police. Like, they always kind of have, but far more than ever before. There used to be a time when Alex Jones, who you know, back in the day was called a libertarian, or identified himself as a libertarian. There used to be a time when Alex Jones would talk about how you shouldn't trust the cops because the cops will come and they'll do eminent domain on you and they'll take away your property and they'll call it, you know, search and seizure, and then they'll go joyriding around in those cars. Like, the correct tip about the abuses that the police state can enact on people under it. I don't know when. It's the same thing with, like, bootleggers and people during Prohibition. It's like, bootleggers and rum runners way back in the day were not friendly with police. So many of your favorite, like, alcohol brands don't have good relationships and histories with cops. It's so funny to see them cucked to the point where they would be like, yeah, no, we don't want people, like, what if you can obscure yourself from the fucking Minority Report machine? Because that's what that shit is. It's like, the Argentinian president just said that they're basically making the Minority Report machine. It's like that thing, the don't make the torment nexus joke, and then they make the torment nexus, like, we're going to be using AI to predict, reliably predict future crimes and the pathologies and ideas of future criminals. It's like, nothing bad will happen. Like, nothing bad can happen of this. Yenzo 628, Trump probably spent as much money on that dining set like Ben Carson did when he was appointed by Trump to be the head of HUD. Jesus Christ. I do not remember that. Let me look that up. Nah. Oh, and by the way, while we still have 1,000 viewers, 1,200 viewers, Be sure to please go like and subscribe the YouTube channel. We are 40 subscribers away from me hitting 100,000, and that's when I get a little silver plaque. So go like and subscribe. Go watch the YouTube videos if you haven't watched them. At the very least, just go hit the little subscribe button on the YouTube channel, because we could. I'm willing to bet 1,200 people aren't all subbed to me, aren't all subbed. So make sure you have it subscribed. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing that's happening. I may take the rest of the day off to just relax and celebrate before trying to hit it hard tomorrow. $31,000 dining set. Huh. Interesting. Barracky, thank you for following. Artifacts, thank you for subscribing over on YouTube. Yeah, that's fucking... Alright, somebody else sent something that I wanted to look at. Seasonal allergies, uncomfortable for me to wear. Yeah, somebody nowhere that there were debates and that Trump is probably in his decline. Like, that's fucking... That is the roughest performance I've seen him give. And again, maybe it's just because we're not... You know, we're not arguing against Kamala, or we're not arguing against Biden anymore being the lead, but, like... That's fucking really, really rough. Like, that was a rough one. Yeah, I don't know, y'all. I'm going to... I have a really big headache. I was going to keep working, but I might take the day. Since I'm about to hit 100,000, I'm like oddly overwhelmed by that. Wow, we have a bunch of people on. Oh, you know what? I know who we're gonna go raid. Everybody get in the raid mobile. And everybody stick around and go like, subscribe, and say hi to this person. We're gonna go raid Emma Little Duck. Get dismiss. Stop it. Yes, I know. And I will see you all later.